With the release of Apex Legends Season 22, the meta has had a pretty good shift in terms of like legend meta per se. Gun meta is entirely different, but I am doing a tier list based on just solely legends, and how this tier list is gonna go, it's gonna base off of just ranked and then general viability with team and everything. Like I'm gonna try to like incorporate both aspects into my deciding. So if y'all do enjoy this video, consider subscribing, like the video, or check out my other videos on Apex Legends, or whether it's my funny moments, my ranked, or whatever. Alright, let's jump right into this tier list. Say before this tier list begins, these picks on my list are opinion only. Everybody has their opinion on this game, and this is just my opinion on who I think is good and who I think is the worst or whatever. I will like to add also, I am keeping my explanations very short and brief just for time's sake, because I don't want to turn this into a 20-minute video. I'm just trying to keep it as short as possible to just, you know, I'll have the image at the end of the video if you just want to skip ahead and don't want to hear my short explanation on why I did it. But if y'all want to complain in the comments that I kept it short and stuff, I did it just for lengthwise. Alrighty, kicking it off the tier list with, we have C tier. Now, these legends aren't bad. There really is no bad legend in this game, in my opinion. It's just some underperform more than others. And with this case, I will start off with our first legend pick for C tier is we have Lifeline. Lifeline was an interesting character in this choice. I went back and played every single legend, and I can say Lifeline is probably the worst legend in this game, but is still viable in my opinion, which is why she is due for a rework that is said to be happening in Apex Season 23. But what do I need to say more about Lifeline? I mean, yes, she has a passive self-revive, and her perks cater towards the reviving and all that, and you can get the cold knockdown out of her package, but in what scenario are you really hitting that revive off with the extra health and shields? I have Mirage. Now, Mirage has always been on the bottom half of the Legends list, no matter where it has been. I mean, he has viability and such. Like I said, you can use any of these Legends, really. It's just some overperform others, some underperform, and some are right in the middle where they need to be. So, Mirage, there's not much. If you are going against a smart player, it's really easy to find out who's who. But I will say, with the new added perks, I mean, I could bump him up to B tier, but I mean, he really is not that special anymore. I have a very surprising pick right here, and it is Ashe. Yeah, you would think Ashe would be B tier, A tier, but no. She's really not that good in my opinion. Her passive, we have the very new reworked survey beacons that scan in the radius, so there's really no point in running Ashe for the passive. Now, her ult, there are better rotational options with Pathfinder, or Wraith, or even Valkyrie, but all that's special about her would be her tactical, and the tactical, I mean, it's cool and all, but I mean, it's really not that special in the meta and everything, especially with the LMG meta right now, where you can just spray at the whoever you like, the guy that gets stuck can just spray at you. She's really not that good. I know I'm gonna upset a lot of people, but it is what it is. Alrighty, next up I have Octane and C tier as well. I mean, he's kind of a selfish solo legend in a way. Like, team, like, yes, he has the rotation with the pad and such, but in this current meta, you can get beamed out of the sky really easy with just people with bottomless mags almost. But he's not necessarily bad. Then the stem damage he takes from using his tactical is a bit too much. Like, yes, you can get a perk to basically put it back to how it was back in the old days of Apex, but you sacrifice it losing the jump pad upgrades and such. Alrighty, now we have Caustic. Caustic is a very interesting placement in this list, because I would think he would still be good after not playing for a while, and I came back and discovered they changed him a lot. He's not like he used to be, and he's honestly the worst controller legend in the game. Like, he can still be used on some of the maps, it's just very situational. He's very situational. That's what I would say this tier is, very situational legends. I have in C tier, it is none other than Gibraltar himself, which is very surprising to me because Gibby used to run the meta back in the day, like it was insane, and then I guess with this gun shield change they added to the LMGs, there's really nothing Gibby has. Like, yes, he's good, he can be ran in meta, it's just some other legends are interswappable and such, and Gibby's just fallen off the meta. Hopefully they can do some changes to him in the future to make his meta rise again, because I did enjoy bubble fighting and such, but Gibby's just kind of in the lower spots right now. B tier is more of just fairly decent legends. They're not necessarily broken, but they're a little underpowered in some ways, and that is alright. And the first person we have on the B tier is none other than Mad Maggie herself. She's been in a confusing spot over the years of Apex from her release in Season 12. Not much can be done. I mean, she's kind of like spiked up a little bit because of the new dual Mozam, so she can run at sprint speed. Holstered sprint speed, my bad. But there's nothing really special about her. I mean, like, she can do her drill or whatever, and her ult is a good small rotational option, but none other than that, I mean, I wouldn't really use her in ranked per se. Next, we have Seer in B tier. I know, it's pretty surprising, because Seer used to really be broken back in the day. Now, he's just kind of... he's fallen off a lot because of the changes they did to his passive and then his tactical even. But they tried adjusting him this season with the new perks to him and such, and I think he's pretty fair right now. I mean, I'd probably even argue maybe putting him in A, but like I said, I played every single legend, and these are just my opinions. There's better recons in the game right now that can do better than what he can right now. We have the poster child of Apex Legends herself, Wraith. Wraith used to be on top and everything back in the meta, but nowadays, I mean, she really isn't even that special. I mean, she's in a rough spot right now to where there's a lot of people that can escape out of fights better, like Pathfinder and Loba and Vantage even sometimes, but her portals are still good. I wish they could do some changes to those. I mean, Wraith is just her tactical change. I mean, the perks make her a little bit more viable, but other than that, it's still Wraith. We have Valkyrie. Valkyrie used to be pretty insane back in her release, and then even in the older seasons. I mean, she's fallen off with the reduced to her ult height back in, I think it was season 13 it was, or 14, one of the two. But with the release of evac towers, I mean, she's just in a rough spot. I mean, she's not bad, none of these legends are bad, but she's fallen off in terms of everything. I mean, she's not the all-around legend like she used to be. Bloodhound. Bloodhound, they used to be way better, but they're in a pretty solid spot right now. I would use them in ranked and such. I mean, they are good. It's the alt change they did to balance them out hurt a little bit, and then I mean their passive is really good for finding enemies, but like said, Crypto can do a lot with just what he's been given now, and Bloodhound's just fallen off a lot. Next on the list, I have Horizon in B tier. Now, Horizon has had a few nerfs and such, and it's placed her down in B tier. There's not a lot about her that's necessarily bad, but it's just she's been hit with nerfs to where she isn't a must pick like she used to be. Everything on her kit is still good. It's just they could buff some stuff, maybe make her lift a little bit better like it used to be, but there's not much you can do to Horizon now. I mean, she is pretty solid though. Alright, next in B tier, which is surprising, is Revenant. With his rework, I think it was 3 seasons ago, he got his whole kit reworked into basically a solo-oriented legend. He doesn't really provide anything team-wise. I guess his passive does to know when someone really is one-shot and your team isn't just flat-out lying to you. But other than that, there's no really team play with him. It's just kind of he's solo run-and-gun legend. But he can be really good on the field. Alrighty, next I have Alter, and Alter is a very interesting pick. she can phase through the walls and such, and it's a really good tactical, and even her ult's really good in certain scenarios. It's just there's some skirmishers that can do a little bit better, and which would be Pathfinder, and Loba can get out of situations a lot easier, but she's not a skirmisher. But if you've noticed in B tier, it's a lot of skirmishers because movement has been in a very confusing spot in Apex Movement Legends. Like back in the day, it was kind of known who was good in the meta, like Pathfinder, and then he got nerfed, and then movement's been in a very strange spot. But Alter isn't necessarily bad. No legend in B tiers really. They can be swapped out with people in the higher tiers. You can make a really good team with these legends. Just alters just a balance. That's what B can kind of is, just kind of balance. But buffs could be applied to any of these legends. Alrighty, to finish off B tier, I have Newcastle. Now Newcastle, I was on the fence about this one because I wanted to put him in A tier because of his passive being able to drag, but I realized how easy it would be in this meta to just blast through the shield and then hurt both Newcastle and the person he's rezzing. So I'm gonna stick him in B tier because he's a support. You can craft the banners and stuff, so that's also good. But he kind of falls off in that. Now the shield is pretty good in my opinion. The changes you can do to make it sprint speed, which is pretty insane. But in ranked, I would run him. He can be put in ranked. It's just these upper legends coming up in A tier and even S tier are like better in that regard. But I would say Newcastle is one of the best supports. Alrighty, we have reached A tier. A tier are near perfect legends that can receive nerfs, but I would say they could receive some small buffs too, but they could also have a shot at being nerfed as well. They're like the most balanced of balanced in my opinion right now. Starting off with A tier, we have Ballistic. Now, some people would say Ballistic's on the B side or even C side. I personally think he's an A. He's pretty perfect. The sling, especially with this season with the dual weapons, they're pretty insane. So having that in the sling is always good, and then when you it upgrades to gold, and having the gold Mozams or even P20s is insane, the hammer points. But his lock on, making people overheat and hurt themselves when they shoot, he's an all-around legend. Next up in A tier, I have Catalyst. I was surprised with Catalyst because I thought she would be lower because of the nerf she received, but right now she is really solid. I enjoyed playing her the other day. It was really nice. Her ult's really good, especially in this season with the big maps with a lot of verticality and open areas. You can really just block off, so you could get off a res or even heal just a bit, and using her tactical to block off some like zip lines and such is really good. Alrighty, next up we have the best controller in the game, in my opinion, which is obviously gonna be Wattson. Wattson has always been in a very strong spot in the meta, just with her ult, especially. Her ult's really game-changing, especially what they have right here, where you can select the perk to make it so the shield regen will come back, like it'll like replenish over time. That's pretty insane. And then with every controller they have a extra 25 shield, so a watch and off drop in the shield zone is really dangerous if she has blue right off the drop. Up in A tier we have Fuse. Now I was very shocked. Fuse is a underrated legend. I enjoyed playing him. His ult with the being able to scan who was ever in the center, that's really good. His knuckle clusters having 2 charges, and they replenish very fast. That's good for applying pressure. And then his perks where he can even access ring consoles is very good. I would say he is a very solid A tier legend and can be put in the meta to shake up some things. It's very interesting. Here we have Crypto. Now, once one of the worst recons in the game has become one of the most greatest recons, the great recon, if you will. In my opinion, he provides a lot of intel, especially with the changes he's gotten to where as long as he has his drone out, he can look at the banners and now and see what squads are pushing up, if you can actually push this and not get thirded. And with the new perk where he cloaks when he's in his drone is very, very good. I expect it to get nerfed soon with like a how long he's cloaked or whatever, maybe like a cooldown or something, some sort, because it is fairly on the broken side, but I wouldn't say it's game changing to put him in S tier. A tier, we have Pathfinder. Now, Pathfinder is in a very interesting spot right now. After he got nerfed with his grapple, I would have put him in C, but after playing, how his grapple is right now and his perks, I would say he's a solid A tier legend, and he can either have survey beacons, which are really good right now, or ring consoles to provide some team information. And his zipline, you go faster on it than usual, which I did not know was a change until I played him. That's why I put him in A tier now. Next up in A tier, we have Bangalore. Now, Bangalore was a very interesting pick for me because I heard of her smoke changes to where like enemies are highlighted in the smoke, and I thought Bangalore was absolutely done in the meta for good. But playing, the highlight really, it's noticeable, but it's not at the same time, and you can still get away with her passive if you're the Bangalore in the smoke as well. If you're just a other legend, I mean, you might as well be done, but you can also fight back because you can also see the same people. But her ult, still good. Her passive, still good. It's her smokes receive some nerfs. That's probably why I won't put her in S, but she is definitely A tier. Now up in A tier, we have Vantage. Now Vantage used to be a very, very bad legend in my opinion, but with her recent changes, she has gone up with not having to have line of sight for Echo, good change. And then her ultimate change to where you can two-shot nearly everybody in the game, from my knowledge. I think helmet changes might, or like the helmets might dictate that, but to my knowledge, it's like nearly everybody can get two-shot. It's pretty insane. To finalize A tier, I have Rampart. Now, this comes with no question with the current meta right now with the gun shield LMGs. Rampart would be the perfect choice right now for the final A pick. You would think I would put her in S tier, but I don't quite think she is S tier material. She is very interesting, I would say, to the least, and how she got buffed with Sheila working like Vantage's ult is really good, so you can almost have Sheila right off the drop, which is pretty insane. Alrighty, we are in S tier now. These are like must-pick legends, really, if you want to get up in there in ranked and just for team play in general, and this is my opinion. Let's get it. Alright, so for the first pick I have for S tier is gonna be Loba. Now, hold on. Y'all are gonna say, but Shy is completely biased. You pick Loba when that is your main. No. She is really S tier, and I will explain as to why. Her ult, any point in the game, she spawns with 50% on it off the drop, so you can loot up really fast and get into fights. Late game, her ult is really good. Her tactical changes with the perks is really good to make it so you could throw it even farther, up to almost 100 meters if you really if you like angle it right and on height. Her passive is like the weakest part of her kit, but being able to get away from fights and easy with their perk changes, and then with support being able to craft banners, Loba is the perfect getaway artist and loot grabber whenever you're getting your team revived. Alrighty, now for our final pick in S tier, I have no other than Conduit. I mean, Conduit's been meta for a while now. I didn't really get it at first until I actually started playing her. Her tactical is really insane. It's that the shield it gives is crazy, and then you can have a perk to where you can get 2 charges by half the duration. That's still insane because of how much shield you can end up getting off of it. She's a very good legend. You can go roaming off without your team a little bit, and then if you need to catch up to your team because they're in danger, her passive is really good for that. And then her ults are really good. Get off of me alt type of move. She's just all around really good. Alrighty, that is my Apex Legends tier list. I have the image on screen right now. Now, a lot of you won't agree with some of the picks. Not everybody will agree with some of my picks, but some might. It's an opinion after all. I'm well open to take criticism. I will take it as I will. Just let's try not to be as negative in the comments, please. I No one likes negativity, but I think this is a well-rounded tier list in my opinion. I really think the season of Apex meta changes, like no legends is like, I say like these S tier legends are like must picks, but I wouldn't say they're necessarily broken. I would probably say Conduit is, but I really don't think no legend is really under like broken needs to be nerfed ASAP like status. But with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, consider leaving a like and subscribing for next videos. I might do a weapon tier list that's gonna take a little bit more. That's because I have to use every weapon and such. But if y'all do want that, let me know down below. And it is Shy Butt, and I'm out. Peace.